This is in its natural state. It's got a nice straw color to it. We're gonna give it a flame toning, which makes it a nice deep brown color when you're finished with the rod, and also gives it a little strength and resiliency, kind of tightens up the bamboo. So we're going to go over here, and bamboo comes from China, and this particular bamboo that I have came from a older rod maker's stash. He had, a couple hundred poles of bamboo that he wasn't going to use anymore. He was hanging up his plane. He was done building and going to a retirement village. And so, okay, here I have a finished rod section. Now this is a quadrate bamboo fly rod, which means 4 strips. It's square, which is a little unusual from some people's vantage point. They're used to seeing a hexagonal bamboo rod, and we can look at one of those later. But this is what we're going to be making. So our job is to turn this into this, and the first step of that process, after we've selected the bamboo and flamed it to get the desired tone, and this will lighten up later in some of the later steps, but we have to split the bamboo into strips to have some manageable material to work with. I started fly fishing as a teenager, and I started getting serious about it in my late teens. Bamboo rods were always kind of a novelty and nostalgic thing for me. I really liked the look of them and the kind of the lore of them. You read about them in books, and there was just a passion about the actual fly rods themselves that didn't seem to translate over into the modern materials of graphite and fiberglass. So, I kind of got hooked on the lure of bamboo rods before I ever even tried one. Here basically is the strips that are going to go into the rod. We have the 4 butt strips and the 8 tip strips to make two tips. Bamboo rods traditionally come with 2 tips. Now we need to, they're basically square, and we need to bevel. Alright, so now after we've run the strips through the beveler, we had started with a square strip, and now you can see that there's a 90-degree angle beveled into the bamboo, and that's just a rough bevel. There's no tapering done to it yet. So we're gonna bind these strips together into a square section through the binding machine, and then it'll be ready for heat treatment. Tapering stage, and that's done on these planing form bars here, and we'll set the depth of groove in the bar with our depth gauge, and we can adjust the actual taper of the rod by adjusting the depth of the groove. Alright, now all the stages that we've talked about before were actually in getting the blank constructed. And now after that, there's quite a few steps that come into play, and one of the first steps, we have to have a way to join the sections together. So we have to put ferrules on the rod, and these are nickel silver ferrules, which I've blued to give it that dark look. But you have to attach the ferrules, so you have to actually spin the blank down to the inner diameter of the ferrule, and then glue those on. And then of course you have to add a handle and reel seat, and generally on lighter trout rods we'll use some kind of cap and ring configuration, where you just put the reel in there and then a ring slides, and it's a friction fit. onto a wood spacer, and then I glue cork rings onto the rod and spin that to the shape I like. And then we want to add our guides, and those are wrapped on with silk, and then varnish is applied, and then varnish is applied to the whole rod. 3 coats of varnish to the whole rod, which needs to be hand sanded after each coat to remove any impurities and defects, and to provide some tooth so the varnish will adhere each subsequent coat. And then we're ready to take the thing out and try it out. So we're here at the lake, and we're gonna see if this thing works for the purpose it was intended. It's kind of neat, and you respect the people that were in this before you, and so that's part of bamboo rod making, deference and respect to the guys that came before you, and hopefully you can add a little bit to the craft yourself.